yeah, we'll just jump right into it. So there's just like in people, animals are going to be able to tolerate different levels of exercise, um, both as a breed normal, and as an individual. And then with that, because they usually going to go with a person, that person, that dog owner, also has their own, limitations or abilities or whatever when it comes to um, exercising, going on walks, hikes, runs, whatever it is. So it's hard to talk about one without the other because they go hand in hand, but we'll do our best. So keep in mind that there is the individual variation. The individual dog will tolerate or not tolerate certain things because it's a personality, or they have other health issues, or whatever it may be, or maybe not, lack of interest or whatever. And then there are breed standards with these pets. We all can understand quite easily that an English bulldog trying to exercise will not do so at the same level that a greyhound will. So that's because of anatomical differences, physiological differences. Um, when you're thinking about what type of exercise regimen I should implement for my dog, you have to take into account a lot of factors. And again, it's just like it's very similar to people. If you're a person who's overweight, you're going to have a different exercise regimen than somebody who's very thin. If you're a person that has multiple medical comorbidities, you've got diabetes, arthritis, whatever, you're not going to work out the same as a 20-year-old Ironman triathlon who has no medical problems whatsoever. So you have to think about it that way with pets. Not every exercise regimen is for every single person. Not every person is going to respond the same way, or be able to tolerate the same exercise regimen. So that has to be considered there. Now, when you look at trying to figure out what your dog can handle or how much exercise they should get, you not only have to look at what can they tolerate, but you have to look at what your goals are. Are you trying to just simply get some energy out of your dog because they're always amped up? Or are you trying to achieve something like weight loss for your dog? Do you live a healthy lifestyle or an active lifestyle, and you want your dog to join you in that lifestyle? Is your dog a hunter? Does your dog work for law enforcement or military? So what exactly is your goal when it comes to exercising your dog? So you have to take into consideration that as well. Now, unless I'm just unaware, I'm not sure there are any strict regimens for dogs depending on your goal and their breed and their personality type. Maybe there are like dog behaviorists and competitors and what have you that probably have a different answer for this. But from a veterinarian standpoint, my goal is just to kind of give you some ground rules for what to consider. And then finally, the environment. Where do you live? Do you live in Alaska, where maybe it's cold most of the year, or do you live in Las Vegas, where the summers can hit 110 to 120 plus degrees Fahrenheit in the summer? So all that has to be taken into consideration. Okay, so at minimum, obviously, dogs for the most part are going to go for a walk a couple times a day on a leash to eliminate, right, to urinate and defecate. Some dogs are trained to be on the potty, to on a wee wee pad in the house, but most dogs are going to go out for a walk with the pet owner, and that may be all the activity they get, and then the occasional playing around the house or something like that. If you have a geriatric dog who has slowed down and they have vision problems and mental acuity problems, then that may be the most they can do, and then the rest of the time they spend at home sedentary, and so and then you may have a puppy that's just go consistently, right? So when you're trying to figure out what type of workout exercise regimen for your dog, you are going to go, of course, beyond the typical just like leash walks, unless your pet really is just so debilitated that they're not going to do anything. They can't do anything So and you don't want to force the issue. Then you have to take into account your dog's personality type. There are some dogs that just don't stop. They're just machines. They keep going, and those are the dogs that usually make it into law enforcement or firefighters or military. And but those are of course also pets too, obviously. And it may be that that type of dog is going to need a lifestyle that you may or may not be able to keep up with. So a Belgian Malinois, for example, or a German Shepherd, who's just on the go, or a Labrador Retriever, or Golden Retriever, they need to get rid of that energy, and so they are going to go way beyond just your typical couple of walks a day. They're going to go and need to be going on hikes and runs with you, and hunting if they're a hunting breed. Um, so you have to take into account like your dog's personality type. There are others that are just not motivated, and they're just to apply a human term to it, lazy, sedentary creatures that just don't have an interest. I know lots of English bulldogs and pugs that are like this, and they're just cool with hanging out at home, and they go outside to pee and poop, and then they're back in the house again. And that's the extent of what they desire to be. So listen to what your dog wants. If your dog is constantly pestering you to play and to do stuff, well, if you're trying to maintain a good quality of life for that dog, then you need to figure out a way to meet the challenge. If you have a pretty sedentary dog, then you're an active person, well, then that dog may not be the one for you. So that's a nice transition into breeds. The breed matters a lot. Now, obviously, if you can have a pug that has the mentality of a very active, high energy Belgian Malinois, sure. And you can have a greyhound that's lazy, but in general, the breed is a pretty good predictor of personality type. That's why we get certain breeds, right? And so the breed usually dictates what it is you want to do with fitness. So if you're an avid runner and you want your dog to run with you, then don't adopt a brachycephalic. If you are not a hunter, then don't get a dog like a retriever or a pointer who may have the goal of being very active and even hunting. They have goals like that inherent to them. If you are anyway, so think about the breed, what is it you have, and that usually dictates their personality type, and it should match your lifestyle. Now your lifestyle might change, right? Maybe let's say you're severely overweight right now. You get a puppy who's a bit on the sedentary side, and but then over years you lose all this weight and you're becoming more active. Well, it's fine. Your dog may not be able to join you on those activities, but because it's hard to transition that way, but it can change over time as well. And then what environment you're in. So if you have a brachycephalic dog, they're not great with exchanging heat because of their breathing issues, respiratory issues, and so trying to run them, exercise them in the deserts of Nevada, it will be brutal. They can't handle it. They're gonna overheat. They're gonna have heat stroke, all these other things. If you have a husky or a Malamute who have this thick hair coat, exercising them in the deserts of Nevada also might be a problem. These dogs prefer cooler weather. Dogs in general, they run hotter than we do. Their normal temperature, based on rectal thermometry, is going to be somewhere around 100 to 102.5. 100. Some dogs run a little bit hotter, 103, 103.5, but usually 100 to 102, 102.5 Fahrenheit is what we're looking at for the normal temperature. And so dogs like it a bit cooler than we do. So imagine if you have a Malamute or a Husky that basically has a winter coat on all the time, and to run them in the heat, it's a bit brutal. So keep those things in mind. You need to have dogs that can acclimate to the weather, or that are acclimated to the weather that you're going to exercise them in. Similarly, you're not really going to run a greyhound or a hairless dog in the tundra of Alaska or something, right? Like they don't have any insulation whatsoever. They have no hair, or they have a very thin hair coat or whatever. So you might need to make sure that you use common sense when it comes to these things as well. And then finally, what is your goal with your dog? So if you're looking to provide weight loss, then similar to people, um, something that involves cardiovascular activity and not really applying weights like weightlifting to dogs, but more of getting in the reps, getting in the time to get their metabolism going to help them lose weight in conjunction with whatever your veterinarian says, of course, and dietary restrictions and treating any metabolic diseases that might be present, etc. But versus if you're training this dog to take down criminals, or to be able to jump from certain heights or climb up certain things, then weight training might be an option with like weighted vests and other creative measures that I'm not expert in when it comes to trying to build muscle for your dogs. But it'll be similar to people where if you're trying to gain mass, you're trying to gain muscle, it'll be lower reps, higher weights, less cardiovascular involved. So more like high powered interval, high intensity interval training. So depends on what your pet is, and then or what your goals are with your pet. And then finally, if they have diseases, arthritis is a common one, right? And I do have an arthritis video on my YouTube channel that you can check out. But arthritis is obviously a problem. It affects mobility. And so if you have a dog that has a condition like arthritis or any other condition, you want to talk to the veterinarian and make sure that your dog is on the appropriate treatment plan in order to make it where you can prevent, hopefully, progression of disease, also improve quality of life. And if they're the kind of dog that was active, years ago, and over the past few years they've slowed down, then getting them on the appropriate medical therapy is going to maybe help them get back on track to where they were. Okay, so a bit all over the place, but that is their that's the overall kind of just sort of guidelines on how to think about it. Take into consideration, just to recap here, what your desires are as a person. What are you looking to achieve? What's your lifestyle like? What is the personality type of your individual pet? What breed is going to lend itself to a personality type that fits your lifestyle as a human and what you want your dog's lifestyle to be? What is your goal with your dog in terms of health and fitness and being athletic? And then finally, what environment do you live in? Are you in a hot environment, cold environment, humid environment, whatever it may be? And so these factors all have to be considered when you are, frankly speaking, when you're about to adopt a dog, is really what this discussion boils down to. But whatever, if you're looking to be in a certain athletic lifestyle and you already have a dog or dogs, then can they rise to the occasion of what you're desiring? And if so, do it gradually, inch by inch, slowly over time. Or if they're not up to that task, then either exercise without your dog and create an exercise regimen for your dog's inherent personality and limitations and desires. Or if you adopt a new pet, that new pet can follow suit. Finally, let's finish up with cats. There's obviously a lot of different cat breeds. They don't have the same breadth of anatomic and physiological variation that dogs do, especially the most common cats, which are domestic short hairs. But it's a bit trickier with cats because you can't just put a leash on them and walk them. Some people do, of course. We've seen the videos online and know people that walk their cat. But in general, on average, cats are not going to respond to that. And so you have to figure out ways to sort of trick them into being active at home or outside, I guess. But things like have them chase a toy or a laser pointer, whatever it takes, or get them the companions that they're always roughhousing and playing together. But cats can be enticed to exercise. You just have to be more creative on how you do it. At least I don't think that they're going to be able to run alongside you for a 3-mile jog. It's just the cats aren't built that way. They don't have that sort of. It's not that they're not built that way. They are, but they're amazing athletes, but they don't have the desire to do so. And so you have to take it into account. And then also take into account that cats are a bit more subtle when they're sick. If they have arthritis, they don't show the same, sometimes glaring symptoms, clinical signs that dogs will with these conditions. They're a bit more quiet about it. A cat that has arthritis and who's in pain may just be a bit more subdued, may not be jumping as much, maybe purring less or purring more. So they're a bit trickier when it comes to figuring out, does my cat hate this activity? They used to have a desire to play and chase his feather around, and now they slow down. Is it just age related, or is there something inherently wrong that I'm not sensing? So you want to talk to your veterinarian and figure that out. Otherwise, it's a lot of the same. There's not that much variation. There is some personality variation with cats, but they are a bit more homogeneous with their personality. The environment that you live in doesn't really matter, because chances are, if you're exercising your cat, you're doing so inside. And then the medical concerns, as well as what your goals are with the fitness, matter to some degree. But I don't know if people place weighted vests and whatever on their cats to try and get them to build muscle. I'm not really sure that's a thing. As far as I know, we don't have any working cats out there. There are, of course, cats that take care of rodents and whatever, but in general, most cats are they're just at home and living their best life. I think that'll do it for this. A bit more complex topic that has a lot of variety to it. Hopefully, it helps at least give you some foundation for how to think about being athletic with your dog and cat. Again, I'll urge vettriage.com if you want more specific, individually tailored regimens, or at least have specific questions. And I will, I'll be on hopefully again tomorrow. Today is Sunday, June 9th. Tomorrow will be the 10th. And we'll do another live stream about something else. If you have anything you want to talk about, please share it. Feel free to donate to support the channel. Keep spreading the good word, hit like, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Everybody take care.